So, there are dueling news stories out in the last week or so. One has it that Meghan and/or Harry are calling King Charles and/or they are calling the Prince of Wales, depending on your source, and begging to be allowed to return to the UK, his family, royal duties. This, in light of the failures of so many of their endeavors and their subsequent concern, panic, desperation, again choose your source and pick your noun, about funding for their Montecito lifestyle. A competing news story, however, insists that while the runaway royals have an open invitation to join the monarch and the rest of the royal family for their traditional summer holiday at Balmoral this year, Meghan and Harry are unlikely to take his family up on the offer, considering how frosty things are still between father and son and brother and brother. So, which is it? Has Harry called for a truce because he's realized his grievances are petty and/or he wants to set them aside either out of a sense of financial desperation or out of a genuine desire to repair his family relationships and be allowed back into the fold? Or is he doubling down and rejecting the peace offering his family is making to him by way of the invitation to join them on their annual vacation? Of course, it isn't only Harry and Meghan we have to consider in either of these scenarios. What would a Harry and Meghan return look like from the family's perspective? You may always love a family member who betrays you, but once you get over the shock of the betrayal, do you forgive? And if you do forgive, do you trust once more? After the scale of Harry's betrayal, his absolutely abysmal lack of judgment and discretion and common sense, is it even possible to trust anything he might do in the future? Given his loose lips, would you want to have a private conversation with him that touches on any subject other than the weather? And what of Meghan? Would the family who embraced her and walked her down the aisle to marry one of their own have any motivation to even try to put up with her by giving her a second chance? Would the country this family heads put up with a royal family that gave Meghan Markle a second chance? Suppose, however, that the Harkles don't want back into the family, only to burnish their brand by rubbing shoulders with the real royals on a holiday break. Remember, if you've had one, your most intense and tension-filled family vacation, multiply that tension geometrically and put it on steroids to get a sense of the atmosphere that would permeate Balmoral if Meghan and Harry really do decide to take up the king's invitation and show up. Or maybe none of this has any basis in reality. Maybe Harry and Meghan have already split up and he's living in a hotel. Maybe they're going broke and need to figure out a way to downsize and live on what? How much do they have? 100 million? 20 million? It's an enormous guessing game, but most of us could live very well for the rest of our lives, even on the low-end estimate. Maybe the Harkles just want to move to Malibu so Meghan can be in closer proximity to the folks at her new talent agency. Maybe she's going to star in a remake of The Bodyguard, or dump Harry and marry Kevin Costner. Or maybe Gordon Getty will be her next husband. Or maybe she'll relaunch The Tig. Is Harry sick of Meghan's tawdry LA lifestyle? Are the duo really having knockdown fights behind closed doors? Why are they having these fights? Because he wants to go to Africa without Meghan to try to restore some semblance of his former dignity? Is he sad and depressed about what his life has become, or does he spend a good amount of time high as a kite? The fact that there is this much wild speculation about Meghan and Harry's next move is evidence of how off the rails they are, how desperately they have failed to define themselves, or their brand, how ragged their loose ends really are. Harry and Meghan have spent 3 years bouncing off American walls, lurching from one disaster to the next. Is it any wonder that guessing how their next dumpster fire is going to start has become a cottage industry? What do you think they're going to blow up next? If you like what we're doing at The Authentic, maybe give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell so you'll be notified as soon as a new video goes live, and think about leaving a comment too. Thank you for watching.